everybody. How you doing out there? Of course, I'm Doc G, and we're set up for the Dr. Ginas show tonight. This is for entertainment purposes only, and also may not be. Also, we're looking for any sponsors that want to be part of the Dr. Ginas show or any of the shows here on Hamilton Radio. Please reach out to me at gdpent1 at yahoo.com. Now it's time for the Dr. Ginas show. Hi, Dr. Gina.
Hello, Doc G. All right.
How are you tonight?
I am great. It's a great Monday because we're here. It's our first official show. It's a post on my Facebook page for the YouTube, and there should be a post coming up for Facebook any minute. So
yeah, just hang in there. Doing that right now. Go ahead.
So pay attention to that. You got to click the link, and when you're watching live, guys, you can comment. I can see the comments here. Tonight's topic, I'm going to talk about signs. So if you know me and you're used to my other shows that I used to do, I talk about signs. People can comment, write in, and ask questions about the topic I'm talking about. And I'll be able to see them, or Doc G can see them and ask the question, because I can't always see them over here, but because I'm in the middle of channeling or talking about something. So I am a psychic medium, and the topics that I talk about have a lot to do with my spiritual coaching. So I coach you guys to understand spirituality more, speaking with your team on the other side, past loved ones, angels, and who's ever over there to help you. So now I just seen on Facebook, guys, we are now live. So I'm hoping whoever is watching it now or whoever watching it later, make some comments for us, because we love comments, ask some questions and interact with us. So again, like I said, tonight's topic is about signs. So if you know what a sign is, you know, there's all kinds of signs. Actually, the song I posted was Tesla. That song, Gene probably knows this, being a radio guy.
Excuse me. Yep, I know what you're talking about.
Signs. I can't sing. Everywhere there's signs. So I love that song. And it is true. Everywhere there's signs from our spirit team, our past loved ones, our angels, our guardian angels. There's signs. Everyone's, you know, trying to communicate with us the best they can, being that they're in the spirit world and we're here and we're in different dimensions, but they try. And because we are energy and spirit energy, it's done a lot through electricity, because they're able to get their energy in and move that energy around. My grandmother used to set her hair. This is just an example, and some of you that know me know this sign. My grandmother used to set her hair with bobby pins all the time. You know, that's what her thing, because she liked her hair done. And her sign for me, and this is how it started. She had passed away, and she was like my mom, because she raised me when my mother died when I was only a couple of months old. So she was like mom. So when she passed away, I was lost without her. And I was praying to her and I was talking to her. I remember my dad was coming to meet me for dinner around the corner. And so I was praying, Mom, please get through to him, that he has to, help me. He has to step up, because I was in New York. I was in college, school. So I said, get it through to him. So I go to meet my dad for dinner, and we sit down, and he has a button-down shirt on, and on his lapel, there was just a bobby pin sticking there. And I was like, where did you get that bobby pin? He said, I just picked it up and I just put it here. I actually forgot, he said. And so he took the bobby pin off. So I knew right then that was my grandma, knowing that, she's going to take care of this, and she's going to talk to him and let him know what he has to do to step up and be there for me. And that became the sign, the bobby pin. And this sign for me is so comforting because it shows up like so many times. Just one of the recent times was just this past weekend. It was my first Father's Day with my biological dad's passing without him. My boyfriend who passed away, his birthday. And it was then I wind up in the urgent care from some things after effects I had from chemo, or I don't know, some kind of after effects. But it was just a tough one of those tough weekends. So I came back from church and I was talking to the lady across the street, and right there was a bobby pin. I was like, okay, all right, grandma, you know. And I'm telling you, the bobby pins show up in the craziest times. I was doing a big event one time and I was nervous. I was doing a gallery event and I remember being, I still, after all this time, still get a little nervous, you're worked up. But this was in some castle in Pennsylvania and there was other mediums there and I just wanted to do good. It was this like pristine castle house type thing. And I walked to the bathroom and right on the floor was a bobby pin. So like this bobby pin, it comes up and people will say, well, how do I know like what my mother's sign is? Well, you'll know, like when my dad sat down and there was that bobby pin, I knew right away that I knew that was the sign. That was the bobby pin. So you'll know. It could be something, a lot of people have the same sign. They'll be like, I saw a butterfly, a monarch butterfly. For me, too, that's a sign. That's my mom. So I started giving my family signs, started telling them what their signs were. And I'm telling you, it'll show up. And my Uncle Monk, I was like, okay, I need to see. This is an old time beer, but he used to drink Schlitz, like Schlitz beer. And it's an old time beer. And I was talking to him and I was like, I don't know how you're going to do this. His name was Monk. I said, but I want to see a monkey. And I just happened to be watching something on, one of these apps and they were taking monkeys came on the TV. So they're going to use that definitely to put that in there. So if you don't have a sign, you assign them a sign. My guides, you see my ring, this is one of my really good clients slash friends. And all my clients and friends know that safety pins, here the bottom one, and paper clips, these are my signs from my guide. And going through New York and transitioning, I used to say, oh my God, this is so horrible. And I started finding safety pins, and safety pins would know that I'm safe because I'd be like, oh my God, how's this going to work out? Stressed out, find a safety pin and a paper clip. It's coming all together. And at one time, many times, but just off the hand, I was signing in for another inpatient chemotherapy. And I was just like, oh God, another round. And I was sitting there signing in. And the lady at the desk to sign me in, she comes, over. And I look down on her desk and there's like 3 bobby pins, a paper clip, and a safety pin. Of course, she probably have some paper clips, but the bobby pins and the safety pin, like, wow. And they were just all there when I was signing in. And it happened so many times in the hospital when there'd just be a random bobby pin in the hallway or just when I needed it. And it just gives me so much comfort. So for anyone out there, like, look for your sign. And again, if you don't have a sign, you can assign a sign because there's a lot of signs in feathers too. So feathers, if anyone has a feather, I remember, this is another crazy story, but just an example of a sign. I was talking to my angels and I said, it was just a hot day in New York, and I was doing early intervention. So I was seeing kids in their apartments, house to house to house. And I was walking down the street talking. I was like, oh, I need a miracle here. Like, this is a lot. This is a lot. Something's got to change. I said, can I have a feather? A white feather. I asked for a white feather. And I called my client, and I said, I'm ringing the bell. Where are you? And she lived on 14th Street in Union Square. So she actually had a little yard. She's like, I'm in the yard. She's like, I don't know what's going on. I even posted this, which was years ago though. I said, what's going on? She's like, there's so many white feathers. I don't know where they all came from. They're all in my yard. A bird must have been fighting the birds or something. So I go in her backyard, and her whole little backyard is full of white feathers. It's so amazing. Just like right there, because I asked for it, and that happens often. I'll ask for, I want to know my angel's there, and I'll get the feather. That's my sign from my angel. And I have spirit guides too. Do we have anyone listening yet, Jean?
There are a few people out there, a couple of TikTok people. Want to say hi to people on TikTok.
Oh, we're on TikTok.
We're on
Okay.
TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, and also the radio stream.
Because
Yeah,
I
there's
don't.
always people in and out. I guess we got to talk more.
Okay. So we got so so just about signs. You can, if you rewatch this, you can always make a comment, and I could see it. And even if I'm not live, I can respond to it. So another thing about signs, there's just I love signs. It gives you reassurance from whoever it is that's in the spirit world, whether it's your past loved one or an angel or a spirit guide. So not about last week when I was going through all these post chemo, post immunization stem cell things, I was talking to my neighbor Allie across the street. So I stepped outside, and down comes a big raven, and the raven comes down, swoops, and she jumps back. And then the raven lands on her roof, looks at me, does a couple gawk, gawk, gawks, and flies away. She's like, that raven came down to talk to you. I'm like, yeah, I think so. And this Sunday, after I had prayed and I was at the river, it's the same raven. He came down by the river, flew right by me again, landed on the land, and gawked at me and flew away again. So, I mean, I seen him now twice up close and personal, and made himself really known. And that's really cool for me, because I get a lot of birds, Blue Jays and Cardinals, and they're definitely just letting me know loved ones are close. But the Raven, the two very significant visits, was something really special for sure. So, do you have any signs yet, Jean?
Signs. Oh my God, I see feathers all the time. I see pennies, nickels, dimes.
Do you
Um,
relate them to anything specific?
well, I do a lot of reading. So what I do is when I see something like a sign, I always look at what's the reason I'm seeing this cardinal. Like I've seen cardinals. They've come right up to me. They've been they've been on my car. So I Google and I read what a cardinal signal is when he steps up to your car and it says, "Good luck is about to happen." You know,
Mm-hmm.
and it gets me excited. But and then and then you wait and you wait, and you're like, "What was the good luck that happened? I don't see anything." Maybe,
You know,
maybe, maybe the good luck is that I'm here another day. Maybe I'm looking at things
no,
wrong because I had an uncle like that. He used to say, he said, just be thankful for being here another day and not look at it like, what am I going to receive? What am I going to get out of this? What's my next step? Rather than just be thankful and grateful for just being here another day.
and that's so true. Just taking that a breath, because there's times when I was in chemo or I was in the MRI and I was having panic attacks, I couldn't breathe. So just the fact that you can take a breath, I literally breathe and go outside and take that breath. And I'm so grateful. And I thank God for that breath, because not everyone gets another breath, you
And there
know?
you go. And there you go. Bashar always says, and I love Bashar, he's very spiritual. And
Yes,
he says, do not take things for granted, because others that could have aren't here anymore.
right.
So
Yeah,
maybe the good luck is that, again, maybe the good luck is maybe I'll find the feather. Maybe I'll find the nickel or the penny or the dime. That is
right.
good luck, because it's still getting some type of form of reward. So it's hard to look at it that way, because you're just expecting. We're expecting. Oh, I want to see a check. I want to see a big check. I want to see a check where I can get my bathroom remodeled. I want to see a big check where I can get, some of the stuff cleaned. And, just so many different things that you can look at as what you want as a guarantee for yourself. And when you don't see that, I said, even a win, and I tell this to people all the time as a financial consultant, even a win could just be paying off a credit card. That's one less thing you have to worry about, you know? Now, the
Right.
best thing is to not use the credit card again to bring it up again. But most people say, hey, I've got to live.
Well,
You know,
here's the thing, and this is very, this is one of the biggest, this is Goggles, everybody. You'll meet everybody, but this is Goggles. He was my Pharaoh. And
oh,
man, I prayed and prayed, and there he is. Just things happen. I got him in the house, and I just love him.
he's
But
adorable.
I'll tell you this amazing sign. This is the biggest sign, and who's ever watching this, you're going to hear the story over and over again. I'm going to tell you, here, God, this is a sign that was mind blowing to me. So when I got diagnosed, and I was going in for chemo, the first time was like you go in for 5 days and you're hooked up to the chemo for 5 days. You come home, you recuperate, you do outpatient chemo, and then you go in like every 2 weeks for 6 months. So I was just man, chemo does something to you, anyone that had it. So I remember I had Catholic written for my religion, you know, and
Hmm.
this pastor walked in and she said, Sandy, she changed my life this time. And you'll hear many stories, but for now, this one is what we're talking about. So Sandy came in. She said, I just was walking by this room and I wanted to come in. I was like, oh, thank you. And like, I can't talk. I'm a nervous wreck. Obviously, I'm getting chemo. I'm diagnosed with cancer. I'm just a mess, right? And I was down in South Jersey taking care of my, because when the pandemic hit New York, we lost our jobs and everything. It was hard to stay there. So I had the house that my grandmom lived in Jersey. So I was like coming down there, and I figured I'd just live off my savings, get back to work after the pandemic and everything. Then I got diagnosed. So I had already pretty much blew through savings and everything. So that week before I went in, I was waiting for my disability, which was taking forever to kick in. So that week before I went in, I ordered food from Walmart. I remember I had like $48. I was like, I'm going to order this food, and then I'll be in the hospital, so I'll be able to eat then. And then my disability should kick in by the time I get out of the hospital. So I just got to eat for a little bit. So I ordered what I could afford. And I remember I had a whole extra bag, and I'm like, what's this bag? I ordered it, and I'm looking through, and it was like bagels, cinnamon raisin breads, like a bunch of breads. And I was like, I didn't order them, but I'm going to put them in the freezer, and then I have these when I come home. So the pastor says to me, she goes, what's your biggest fear? I said, the biggest fear is I am not going to be able to have enough money for food to eat. I said, because the bills, like, they can stack up, but I'm not going to have food. And I said, and I have cats and I have to feed them. I'm not going to have that neither. And then I told her about my $48 and then, this extra loaf of bread. And she told me the story about Jesus. And I love church. I love the Bible. I go to church, but I'm not good at quoting word for word. So all these special people out there that are good and know more than me, just take it for what it is. I'm going to tell you, I forget if it was Matthew or whoever it was on, they were feeding a bunch of masses, 5,000 men came plus women and children. And they said to Jesus, they didn't have enough bread to feed everyone. And he said, just break the bread and start feeding and it'll come. And that's what they did. And then more bread came and fish came and they fed everybody. So Jesus made sure they had enough. So do you know when I got home from the hospital and I pulled that bread out of the freezer, there were 5 loaves of bread. Well, if that wasn't a sign from Jesus
Wow, yeah.
that he's going to take care of me and don't worry about it, I'm going to eat. And then there was a big bag of cat food on my porch. It turned out one of the ladies that used to feed the strays here heard that I was, in the hospital and wanted to help me take care of these cats, while I'm going through a hard time. And she had dropped off a big bag of cat food, and my disability had kicked in. And from then on, I had money for food, and the lady had helped me with the cat food when I needed it. And talk about signs, miracles and signs, and God just letting you know you're healed, you're okay. I'm going to feed you. Like, wow, that
Yeah,
signs make you feel good.
I think we all forget that, Gina, too. The just that idea that um, you've got basic, you've got your shelter, you've got food, you've got water, you've got a ride back and forth to wherever you're going or transportation to work. You're making money and you're paying your bills. Um, that's the basic 90% and 98% of the people don't really have that.
No, no,
Most of them
no.
are buried in.
I didn't have it. I
That's
didn't before. I had
point.
no home.
But it started coming to you after you started believing more and have higher faith and believing. I think that's what we all lack in is we all believe that it's going to happen, but we just don't see it happening. We're not looking for the real things that happen. I mean, even like I said with my wife, my wife's here now. She just came in. We go through the same thing with each other, but we know we love each other. We know we care about each other, and we know we want to help each other. Because when we help each other, we help people around us, and the community becomes a community when people work together. And
Yes.
you know that from with the cats because one cat will, and we have rescue cats too, right? So one rescue cat kind of gets mad when they eat their food, but like I said before, you'll walk in, all three of them be sitting on the couch together like there's no problem. Once you walk in, it's like I hate you now. If that's what it's like.
I wish they all got along, but they don't. Not yet. I mean, we'll see. I've been saving cats since I was a child. So eventually some of them get along. We're going to see how it goes.
Well,
It's
I know
just,
you believe cats are spiritual, right?
uh-huh.
So
Yes.
what can you tell me from a cat's point of view that you think they see in us or around?
Well, I mean, my friend Donna coined the term for me, Snow White, because I'm able to communicate to animals living in past, and I can do a lot of healing with animals as well. And I do believe Pumpkin, Pumpkin is my little orange cat. She's the one you guys met last week. I don't know. She's at the back door looking at her. But she's an angel, and she came to me reincarnated from Germany, who I lost when I was going through this.
Right.
But she came to me. I was just home again from one of my rounds of chemo, and I heard this cat screaming at me, scream, scream, scream. So I went out front, and my neighbors were in this car trying to pull the grill off. And the Uber Eats lady said their cat been stuck. She's been hearing it in her grill for a couple days, but she couldn't get it. She couldn't see it.
Oh
And
no.
and I bend down and I see it in there and it's crying and then it started purring right away. As soon as it seen me, it started purring. So like four neighbors were out there and one of the neighbors jacked the car up and my neighbor Allie across the street pulled it and then the little tiny girl, she's the one I posted on Facebook for this link. She came out and like last thing I needed was a new cat. I was trying to take care of the three that I had.
I know.
And but anyway, I wound up with a new little angel pumpkin. Oh, here she is. Pumpkin. But she took a left turn. So I
Uh,
wound up with her and she became my little angel. But Leo is right here. This is Leo.
he's adorable.
Leo is also, he's my main angel right now. He's the guy who was with me through all this cancer after Germany passed. And they're just spiritual. They're protectors of the unseen. I think that's why God keeps sending them to me because, what I work with spirit. So I think that's why I keep getting these cats to help protect me. And
Each,
that's what they do when I sleep. I'm surrounded by the cats and they take care of what I can't see
each
at
one
night.
on spirit, huh?
Yeah, they're protectors. They were good at micing too, but but there's no mice like when I had my New York apartment. Everyone got a mouse or two in New York, but my cats took care of them. But cats are very spiritual and they are definitely attracted to me. I guess it doesn't help that I'm like, come here, kitties. Like I'm friendly too, but they definitely trust me. So everybody needs a cat, and then a cat needs a friend. So everyone should have a cat or two.
What about for people that don't like cats? I mean, we talked about dogs before, but dogs they got their own type of spirituality as well, right?
Yeah, they all do, but cats have a special type. Cats are special messengers. Even back, in Egypt, and they worship them, and um, they're special. They're different. All animals are spiritual, but a cat is a messenger, a protector, an angel. There's
Oh.
there's cats are special. The other animals are, but nothing compares to a cat in the spirit side. No,
What if
you know.
what if somebody comes into your house and the cat doesn't like them? Is that a sign that there's a spirit issue there between both animals?
Oh, and my cats don't like anyone. So
Only you.
um,
Only you.
I, I think because they're all feral cats, so they were not used to people. But I do believe if an animal doesn't like someone, there definitely could be something wrong. Or the person could just be timid themselves. It's not always a telltale sign because the person could be a nervous themselves. You know, people say if the animal doesn't like you, but sometimes like the person's just nervous. So it's not always a telltale sign. It's not. It can be, but not always. Every situation is a little different for sure. But if I see someone that I know treats an animal bad, because we hear about it, we see it.
Yeah, I know.
I know that they're uneducated in animals. A lot of them, they can't even help it. They were raised where like the dog lives outside, or that the get down from the couch, the dog or the cat. That's how they were raised. That they can't help. They can't help it. So there's a lot of education that needs to be given to kids in school because sometimes people from low economic areas and stuff like they kick the cat or the dog or because that's just how they were raised. They can't help it. Some people eat cats in different areas, they eat dogs, but again, that's how they were raised. We can't hold it against them. Yeah, it's terrible, but that's just what they know. That's how they were raised. I wish I didn't eat chickens, and I wish I didn't eat steak, but I do. I do,
Sandy,
and I
Sandy's
wish I
got a
didn't.
question. Sandy's got a question for you too. When you're done, when you're done.
Okay, go ahead, Sandy.
Hi.
Hi,
Um,
Sandy.
I just want to say, like sometimes our cats will be staring off at the side or looking down the hallway, and I'm wondering like if maybe our parents have appeared. Well, only one cat had met my mom. Our other cats we got them afterwards, but they keep looking like they see something there on the side, and they're staring. At one time, one of our black cats, he was like he was looking behind me, and he was acting like he was real freaked out, and then a little while later, then he came over to me. I like turned around. I said, "What do you see?"
Oh, they see everything. My cat Pumpkin, I swear she was chasing fairies a few nights ago. Because sometimes I catch them on my little camera, but she was jumping up and catching, and this is nighttime and running across bed. I'm like, okay, she's chasing fairies. Yeah, they see spirits that we can't see because they got a different realm. Their eyes and their spirit travels that way.
Mhm.
So they were probably just seeing spirits, and sometimes they're fine. Like sometimes my cats are just sleeping and all the spirits are around them. Da, da, da. But then sometimes if a spirit comes in, they don't know. They're just like, who's this spirit? They don't know that spirit.
Mhm.
So they're comfortable with a lot of spirits. Like I'm sure my cats here know, are more comfortable with the spirits than they are with some of my human people,
Uh-huh.
for sure. How many
Well,
cats do you guys have?
how many cats do you have?
We have three. Well, there are daughters. One is our daughters. Pepper. She's a black cat. She's about, I guess, 8 years old, and then the other two are the black one and the tortoiseshell. They were found together. They're brother and sister, and they belong to my other daughter. So they're about a couple of years old.
Okay.
They're younger. And we think the tortoiseshell. Well, this has happened two times, because we've had a couple tortoiseshells, and we keep thinking they're reincarnated.
Yes, they are. Who do
Yeah.
you think they are? From your dog?
Well, no, actually,
Other cats, right?
yeah, the other cats. We had a Mittens, and then we had Autumn. So we thought maybe Autumn
Combination of
was
both.
Mittens reincarnated, and now Love could be Autumn because they all bonded with my daughter. Just like the
Yeah.
first. But the brother cat, Boo, the black cat, he could be Frankie because Frankie would roll over all the time, and he likes to roll over, and he likes to sit on Gino's lap.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think sometimes, you
They
know,
definitely they come back because
yeah.
Pumpkin is Germany reincarnated, and Germany was Kramer reincarnated,
Hmm.
and so they come back. But that was my guardian, so that's why they reincarnate. This the certain one reincarnates. And my other cats aren't reincarnated; they're just the soul. But Pumpkin is a reincarnated one.
Hmm.
So you can see the
Yeah, we
different
don't know
traits that
Jane.
that the one does that relates to the one that used to be here,
Yeah.
and the other one does the other traits that the other one did. So it's weird
Mhm.
that both cats are doing exactly what our past
Yeah.
had done.
They remember, like Pumpkin, and I have pictures, videos posted. She's been bringing me a toy to play fetch since day one. And Germany was the only cat that played fetch. And
Oh.
since day one, I couldn't believe it. I was like, she's bringing me a toy to play fetch. I was like, oh my God, like this Germany. And I thought, like, I asked for a sign to know from my dad because my dad had just passed. I asked for a sign. My dad lived in the shore in Atlantic City. So I was at a park in Haddonfield, which is not near Atlantic City. And I posted this too. I found a seashell. And on the seashell, I guess there's these people that go around and paint seashells and leave them for people to find,
Mhm.
Jersey shells. And it said pumpkin. It was Halloween. So it was pretty much my dad down the shore giving me a sign for pumpkin.
Oh, wow.
Mhm. So that was another sign. And she's my only girl. I got five boys and her.
Oh.
So she's just, she's my little angel. she's got the suite. She knows at night she sleeps upstairs with me.
Oh,
So they're definitely angels. I don't know what I would do without them. They're my best friends.
hmm
They're better than anything, for sure. I love them. So
oh.
you guys don't have one of your own. They're just your daughters.
Yeah, we're the
Sort of.
grandparents to the kitties, but yeah. Yeah.
That's okay. The grandparents are good. It's good to have grandparents to take care of, because when I was in the hospital, it was really scary not being able to take care of my cats. Was just having somebody help. And then Germany was 17 and he stopped eating. He went into depression.
Oh,
Had to be put to sleep because he just went into depression. And then the second time I went in the hospital after that, for all that time, Leo got so nervous he got a urinary tract and
Oh,
his was blocked. And I remember praying. I didn't have the money for the operation. It was $5,000. And I was like, how am I going to get this money? And he's going to die. And I just got some natural remedies and prayed and prayed. And you just saw him. He's the fluffy one. So that was God again helping me heal him. And then Goggles, who you seen earlier, he got shot. He was living outside 3 times by a BB gun.
oh,
Somebody outside shot him. So I brought him inside, and same thing, and just praying to heal, because going to a vet was expensive. And
mhm.
Pumpkin had a broken right femur from being in the car, and that healed too. Everybody healed because of Jesus, because of healing, because there was no vet happening.
Uh-huh. Oh.
So
Maybe you could teach us a healing prayer, you know. I mean, I pray a lot, you know, but I'm just not one that great with words, you know, like
well, neither am I, and you don't have to be. You just have to think. Really, I don't. I remember not knowing, and I still don't know how exactly to pray. So I just say what's on my mind. And one of my favorite, and again, Bible people out there, I might have this wrong, but it's by His stripes we were healed. And I just say that over and over and over and over when I was in the MRI, because when Jesus died for us on the cross, He healed us, and that hang me on for everything. And when I'm going through a surgery or something, I just that's one of my favorite Bible verses that I say all the time. So you don't have to be. I'm not an expert. Um, I do watch The Chosen. Have you watched The Chosen?
no, I haven't seen that.
If
Yeah.
you watch it, you can learn a lot, and it's a series. I think it's on
Okay.
Prime. I watch it on Prime. It's also on Hulu, and but you can watch that, and you learn a lot from watching that. Like, if you're not reading the Bible is difficult, and I have I have a Bible in every room.
Mhm.
Pumpkin scratch this one, but like sometimes I just pick up the Bible and I I read it, and then I have different things. Actually, this might be a sign for somebody. I'm going to read whatever this is that I got marked off here. I said, what one is this one? I got again. This was my favorite. Is by His stripes we were healed. And I got it written down here. And having faith. There's always a turning point, and
Mhm.
always have faith. And then another thing I have here, Simon was answering, and he said, the Lord will never let you down. I will never let you go. I will never let you down. So maybe someone needed to hear that. But like, I just pick it up, and I'm not a great Bible reader. And I'll just read 2 or 3 things, and sometimes none of them make sense to me. But I read it because a couple words might make sense to me. And I just learn by picking it up. And like I said, there's a Bible in here. This is my reading room. I got a Bible in the other room. Every bedroom has, and I just pick it up and I read something from the Bible, and it helps me.
I just want to give a shout out to Jersey Shore Angel. Maureen is out there. Hey, Maureen, how are you, my dear? Always thinking about you.
Hello, guys. So I don't, Maureen and Angel. Hello, Angel. See, there's another sign. An angel popped on here. See, Sandy? You know, you can find a sign in anything. Just her name is Angel. That's a good sign. So just start there. If you, again, watch The Chosen and just get a Bible. I have one Bible called the Message Bible, and it makes things a little easier to read. So I read that one. I have the King James Version. I got a few different types of Bibles because they're all different. Somebody's saying something there. I can't read it, Jean.
She says she's in the hospital. She said, in hospital, Doc G, healing prayers. Yeah, we give you prayers, Maureen. We pray all the time for you and your family. Maureen has been an incredible person in my life and also in Sandy's life too. We've done so much with her, and hope to eventually do something else in the future with her, not only with the studio or the station, but with other things. So
I don't know if Maureen heard, and I don't know if she reads the Bible, but one of my favorite things when I was in the hospital, I would just concentrate on, you know, Jesus died on the cross for us. He by his stripes we were healed. He healed for us. He took that on for us. So that helped me. And I used to do the Our Father prayer when I was in the MRI machine or I was getting a surgery or till the anesthesia kicked in. I would say that prayer over and over again. And it just gave me so much comfort. Besides the fact this pastor, I was at MD Anderson for the cancer, the pastor Sandy that came in and just, man, she was a lifesaver. She just, having a good pastor in the hospital. Oof. And I had another time I was in the hospital and I had a good priest, and it's just having God in your life. It's definitely changed me for sure and given me a lot of signs, and that's why I'm here now. For sure, definitely. Anyway, so does Maureen have it? Is Maureen still listening to us?
I think, Maureen, are you listening? Still listening or watching us? She might be watching us on Facebook. She usually goes on Facebook. Most people see us on Facebook and YouTube. But I was going to ask you, can you tell her what you told me about the house, the historical house where we're at?
The what?
The historical house where we're at.
Oh, yeah.
Abbott House.
I was wondering if that house was haunted because they give tours there.
Yeah, well, the Abbott House, half of it is colonial, half of it is Victorian, and my grandmother knew the last family that lived there that sold it to our township. We haven't really detected anything there, but at the other house, the Cruiser house I work on, every October they do a ghost hunt, and my daughter and Gina were there, and they had some signs. Gina felt like, being touched, like a relationship with him being, and he was a judge in a film festival, and they funded Fox Films because the one brother to Fred Cruiser was very good friends with William Fox. So he started out the Fox Films, and then the family, stayed involved, and then it turned into 20th Century Fox later. So there was some relationship there, and my daughter was up in one of the bedrooms, my younger daughter, with another lady who I later I met. She came to the Abbott House, and they both felt like they were being touched or that somebody was blowing air on their neck, So we thought like maybe Raymond was the youngest. I mean, he died as an adult, but I always kind of think of him as being playful, or the missus of the house, the original Mrs. Cruiser, maybe, because they were up in the master bedroom,
It's something fun to go investigate, because I used to be an paranormal investigator, and I definitely had some cool investigations.
But Gina,
Maureen
as well. Yeah. But you know what's really weird about this whole situation? I don't think I've ever felt anything in that house But now there's so many people coming from that other house that I think they're maybe dragging some of the
Ah,
spiritual people with them
and
to
that
the
can
house.
happen
And
because
that's what I feel like. Yeah.
spirits. So sometimes spirits stay in a place because they like it, and they're comfortable. But
Mhm.
then if they want to go somewhere else, they want to go with it, and they hear people talking about it, they'll go check it out. I had brought many spirits came home with me, many from the places I went. They wanted to come home, check out maybe what my house was like. And one time on the back camera, I have a back camera in my back porch. Um, I This one spirit had followed me home, and he was everywhere. And I think he came from. I'm pretty sure he came from Crescent Sanitarium, or he might have came from Mid Orange. I'm not sure, but anyway, he was here, and so they like to come because they want to. Sometimes some spirits want to get out and see what else is happening, and some spirits feel safe and they don't want to leave where they're at because they're afraid they won't get back. But so
Oh,
this one
okay.
spirit leaves and he comes here. So I was talking to my friend Angie on the phone, and I was talking to her, and I was talking just whatever. And I walked outside in the back porch, and then I came in, and I was with Angie, and I said, "Man, I think Leo got out." When I said, so I checked the camera to see if I could see Leo walking out, and
Uh-huh.
when I was talking to Angie, I was saying how much I miss New York and how boring it is in New Jersey.
Mhm.
So I hear the camera play back and I hear me saying to Angie on the phone, "It's so boring here." And the spirit goes, "Oh my God, it is boring." And it's clear as day. The spirit says it. And I think because the spirit came home with me, but he was bored here. He wanted to go back, probably didn't know how to get back. They get stuck sometimes, don't know
Uh,
how to get back. So I remember telling the spirit, like, how to get back. I'm like, you got to go back. But he was here for a long time, and I posted this EVP. I think it's on my Instagram, early back on my Instagram. You can hear the clear EVP say that. And another one time, all the spirits were in my living room. I came back from the Conjuring house, and they were all in there, and they always would set the smoke alarms off every time I came home from the Conjuring house. And I
oh, wow.
was just like, it was getting ridiculous. I had so many spirits in this house, so many spirits in this house, and I have so many videos and things I caught. It was now there occasionally a couple spirits might walk through, but they don't stay. They haven't stayed since my hospital stay, and the cats are in the back porch. But this used to be like spirit central, traffic central. Spirits here just from the prisons, from the jail. I had so many spirits, and I'm glad they're not they're not here no more. And I'm
Uh-huh.
glad they're not here. But some of them are really cool, and I made a lot of friends with spirits in some of the investigations I did, especially at Crescent. Some of them are really fun and really cool. They're just like people. And
Mhm.
then some of them are mean and miserable because they're stuck and they don't want to be there, or they're just miserable people,
Oh, okay.
just
But
like
when uh-huh.
people.
When
So,
when I'm
um,
sorry. Go ahead.
go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, but when they do go back to their realm, or what we
Uh-huh.
call heaven, they would be happy there, right? Like, I mean, there they have no pain or anything, but I guess when they're here, they're feeling the worldly things or
No,
whatever.
they don't feel no pain. They don't have any of that. They're just
Oh,
miserable. They're just
oh,
miserable.
that's a
But
shame. Yeah, that they're yeah, miserable.
they don't have knee pain or back pain like they might have had when they were alive, or they're not having a no, they're just miserable spirits.
Well, that's sad though. That Yeah, it's a shame they can't change that. Like, if they meet Jesus, or they're
Yeah, they
happy.
didn't.
Right. Yeah.
Sometimes they do, and sometimes some spirits like being here. They like being in spirit form. They're fine. They don't care if they have a body, and they like just rolling around being a spirit. Some
Yeah.
of them like it,
They
and
go,
some of them just or just don't know how to get out. Some of them can't figure out how to leave. And some of them have spirit friends that they don't want to leave neither.
Oh, okay.
So
Yeah.
many things going on over there. It's
If
just a
yeah.
lot of stuff. And they don't show up as much because if I'm talking and I'm doing a gallery, I'm doing a mediumship reading, and sometimes someone's spirit or something comes over, that means maybe they could be still walking this plane and they're not connected to me. The phone didn't go off. You know, they weren't so connected to know. So there's spirits in all different places. Not everybody's in the same place,
hmm
for sure.
Now, is it true too that you could? Well, a friend of mine, she had an experience where
Mhm.
she was very close to her father-in-law, and her father-in-law and another relative. I don't know if it was his brother. It was like a dream she had, but she was awake, so she saw them, and he was telling her something like not to feel guilty, or she like was holding him back from where what he needed to do, and so but he didn't want her to feel any guilt or anything, like whatever was holding him, like she would feel very, very sad, and she needed
Mhm.
to release that. So I don't know. I guess in order for him to move on in his spiritual journey, um, you know.
Well,
So like
sometimes the spirit does hang on because they feel like they have unresolved business here. So sometimes they stay a little bit because they want to fix things, but they have spirits that are trying to transport them to heaven. They
uh,
have their soul spirits, and everyone that's saying it's okay, come. Some people are nervous to leave right away. They don't want to leave their kids, or they're
uh,
not ready to leave. But then, we have their team over there that's saying it's okay, you can leave. That's why it's always good. And I tell people when their family's really sick and they're holding on to be there, you tell them it's okay. You know, I'll see you on the other side. Like I want you to be pain free. I want you to go. And
yeah.
you give them the okay that it's okay for them to go.
Okay. Yeah, I understand that now because when my uncle was passing away and I was with him, I told him I would take care of my aunt, you
Uh-huh.
know, and and then shortly after that, he went, he just needed.
Yeah, for me, like I'm like a meme. I'd be hanging on there going, but what about my cats?
Yeah.
I can't go. I'd be the spirit that's here just making sure everyone's getting fed for sure. Definitely. So yeah, it's a crazy world what I see, and um it's I know that I'm not afraid of death because I know how great it is.
Mhm.
I just know that I want to get some more things done here before I go there.
Yeah.
That, that's all I know, but I'm not afraid of it.
Yeah, and the other thing is too, Gina. Most people will understand this, but everybody lives and everything dies.
Yeah,
So with that said, you don't. Again, we don't even know if we're promised the next day. So
not,
I think that gift that you have every day, the present, is a gift. It really
yeah,
is. It really is.
yes. And I try to make the best and do the best I can to help people every single day. Like, what did I do when I go to sleep? I think, maybe I was at the park and I said something to, someone that was on the walker. I always think, what did I do good? I think my friend Denise is on there. Hi, Denise. You
Saying hi
came
to
in
you.
at the end, but hi, is a good friend of mine. Um, Many blessings to you. Denise has been through some
Oh,
stuff too. Um, but I try to think before I go to sleep at night. I always think, did I do something, especially now? I try to do something for someone. It might not be something big. It might just be like I was in the food store and, I took the older lady's cart back where I can barely walk myself, but you know, what did I do? Did I do something for someone? I try to make that a thing. And now I'm up to at least one thing a day. And if I go to sleep and I feel like I didn't do something for someone, I actually go online and try to see somebody's something so I can put a positive note or something. But I try to do something, at least one thing every day. If everyone lived like that, we'd be in good shape. It doesn't have to be money.
We
Yeah.
It's just
we
one
we do that,
positive thing
Uh-huh.
for
we
somebody.
do that all the time. If we
Yeah.
go to a store or we
Random
see
acts of
somebody,
kindness.
it's always
Yeah.
good to just, look at yourself the way other people look at you. And when I watch like certain shows, I would say, what would I do in that situation? Well, what I would do is probably give that person, they only have 2 or 3 items. You can go way ahead. I mean, I did that to a young guy the other day. He says, "Oh, you don't have to." I said, "I got all day. I'm retired. I'm good. I know you're in a hurry. I know you want to get out of here. Go ahead." He said, "Okay, thank you." I said, "You're welcome." So
Yeah.
just the kindness that you show others and that feeling of gratitude from just that alone. Now I'm good for the day. I'm good for the next time go in the parking lot and something else happens
Yeah.
and I
You
treat it
just
with care and respect, right?
everyone's got to live that way. And another thing, in the supermarket, there was a lady in front of me a few days ago, and she had paid for her stuff and she was bagging it. She was an older lady. And then she had some extra stuff. She goes, "Oh, it doesn't fit in the bag," but she already had rung her thing up. She's like, "I'll just get," and I was like, "Just I'll buy her a couple bags, just something, not one little thing." And when someone does something for me, it's mind blowing. Like, I'm so grateful for someone holding the door open for me, because people don't do that all the time. Just like, thank you so much. Like, it means so much.
Right. And it
One
doesn't
little
have to
act of
be any
kindness.
financial reward or anything like that. It's just that you showing kindness and respect to others could make the whole world a whole different. Can you imagine now that person that went through that? So it's called pay forward, right? Because when you do that to somebody, usually they feel so good that they start doing it, and then
Yes,
they do it to somebody else, and then somebody. And can you imagine if it kicks back to your family? Like, oh, I met this guy. He said somebody did something for him in the restaurant or supermarket. So he did something for me. So it paid you back and it got you back into your family. It's just that incredible chain of kindness that should never end. It should never stop.
well, let's hope now, whoever's listening, take this idea. And even if it, like, I remember this winter, I was in the hospital and I was by myself, of course, and I didn't have any help to do
Sure.
anything. Like, it's just me. And I just never can be in this position again, because I have a cousin that was helping me, but she's a few hours away and she came when she could. But otherwise, like, my house was filthy because I could only do the little bit. My one cousin came down a couple times to clean, but we're talking 2.5 years of just me half-assing it because I couldn't fully do it, or not being able to eat or cook, and I didn't have anybody, like no one to help me, no one.
See
And
that?
it was just, I'm so grateful for the little thing. Denise, the friend that was just on here, she did this amazing thing for me one time. So my car died, and I happened to be, I posted it. I was like, "Here I am waiting for AAA, blah, 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 blah." And she located me, I guess, through whatever. And she came to pick me up. Denise, are you still on here? But anyway, she probably hung up by now, but she went out of her way to find me. Otherwise, like, I didn't have anyone to pick me up or do anything, but she came and she picked me up. But when she got there, I was praying over my car. By the time she got there, it started. But she went out of her way to pick me up, man. And it just meant a lot, a lot. And, some people that weren't even my really close friends, but they were, friends. They sent me cards or, blankets or tea or something. And it just, it was, my jujitsu school had these little shirts made with cats and black belts. Mike, the owner, and he had a little raffle. And it's just like, I am touched and blessed by so many amazing things, but at the same time, I was let down by so many people that I thought were the closest to me. You know, it's different, eye-opening
Well,
for sure.
our hour is up. I want to say final parts on. She loved the live. She liked what you had to say on TikTok. We had a lot of people on TikTok watching you, giving you a thumbs up, sending hearts, and yeah, she says, I am. You deserve it. You are. You're a good person, Gina. And in a lot of ways, you're paying it forward too. And we've been paying it forward for many, many years too. So we're going to keep doing it as long as we still got breath in this body. So I want to ask you, is there anything else that you want to say before you go tonight and return next week?
Yeah, I really like what we talked about, where I, if all the listeners out there could just do that, maybe not once a day, but if you could write down in your, if you journal or just think about, do one kind thing for somebody, even if it's once a week. Like I said, I'm trying to do it every day. But if you can't do it every day, maybe you're not out every day or whatever, but try to do something once a week. It'll make just a little difference, you know. That's it.
And one difference in one person's day can make the difference in their whole life forward.
Yes. Yeah. Well, thank you guys for sharing. Thank you for producing this. I'm very excited to be back and to have Doc G and Sandy. What a highlight. You have to stop in all the time. It was so
I
great.
tell her that all the time. Yeah.
It was so great. It's just so great for you to be here. And next Monday, 7 p.m. I haven't got the topic yet, but you can start asking me questions and chime in. Whoever's watching this, maybe you're watching it, it's not live. Again, you can still post a comment or a question, and if I see it, tag me in it, and I'll still go back and look at that. Okay, and that's it.
Once again, everybody, we're on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and the radio stream. You can check us out at Hamilton Radio 1, or you can check out Gina's page, Dr. Gina Marie. We're also Hamilton Radio on Facebook. You can find us on there, and we'll connect you with Dr. Gina Marie. So have a great week, a great night, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.